Hello guys, I just quickly want to lean my voice to the alleged resignation of Ajuri Ngelale, the presidential spokesman to Bola Ahmed TINUBU, President Nigeria, and previous President Muhammad Buhari. Now, there are two possible reasons why Ajuri will have resigned. I have noticed his obvious silence and have introspected long before the abrupt, shocking news that he has resigned. I've always thought about it that if any man has a conscience, if any man has the gift of oratorical sagacity, eloquence, grandiloquence, and then is able to pull through Muhammad Buhari, reciting and telling obvious lies, and yet was still able to make sense, logical sense, factual statements were made in the Buhari administration. Ajuri Ngelale did a tremendous, unprecedented, unbelievable work representing Muhammad Buhari and painting him very well, highlighting his achievements, his efforts, and the policies that they've made. But when it came to the time of Bola Ahmed TINUBU, within the space of 1 year, Ajuri Ngelale was practically muted. Two possible reasons. One, he must have stepped on Lagos toes. You don't step on Lagos toes and survive the bad administration. That is not going to happen. Secondly, he has a conscience. Every time I looked at him and I admire his oratorical sagacity, his grandiloquence, I always wondered, does this guy have any conscience at all? There's nobody, no one born of a woman with the right senses, having a conscience, who worships God, who knows the true and only one God, can defend the policies, the steps, the nonchalant attitude, the callousness, the opaqueness in the Bola Ahmed TINUBU's administration. I am not talking about the fact that any man can come up and say anything. I'm talking about any man coming up to say what he thinks is true, what he thinks is just, what he thinks is right. I mean, looking at the pain that has been introduced, the unprecedented, unfathomable hardship that has been introduced in the last 1 year plus, and then your duty is to say that those administrative errors committed by the ruiners of our nation is in the best interest of our nation. That is exactly the task, the assignment, and the responsibilities of Ajuri Ngelale. His work is to defend the indefensible, is to project in good light policies that are made to enrich the pockets of the ruiners and the administrative heads of Nigeria. How do I mean? It is Ajuri Ngelale's duties to stand before Nigerians and tell us that while we are angry, it is justifiable for the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to go on a spending spree, to buy private jet, to buy a bulletproof Escalade. In the words of Segun Showunmi, to spend money as if it is going out of fashion, the ostensibility. And so it is Ajuri's duty to defend this. It is Ajuri's duty to make sense out of what is totally not making sense. People work 4 times harder than they ever worked in their lives, and the currency is so devalued that the penury, the poverty is at all-time high. The number of girls putting on seductive clothing on our streets has increased, and people think it's decadence. No, it's advertisement coming out of deep entrenched poverty. And so this is the work of Ajuri Ngelale, to keep painting Bola Ahmed TINUBU as a saint, to keep telling us in different nuance that there must be pain before there is gain, to begin to make sense out of what can never ever make sense. The pain you can feel is the pain you can heal. Bola Ahmed TINUBU cannot feel the pain, and so he cannot heal the pain. He's totally clueless and callous. And so, if Ajuri Ngelale has conscience, he was mentored by his loving mother, who told him that he should put service above all, he should walk in good conscience, He should respect humanity against profitability. He should forget about what he earns as a spokesman and think about what will happen at the expiration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. What do I mean? Some of the people that advocated, spoke for, defended, and supported the administration will find it very difficult to walk on Nigerian streets. That's the truth. If nothing is done to ameliorate, to redirect the policies and the trajectory by which the Nigerian state is navigating at this material period, if the ruiners of our nation continue in this projectile, what will happen is that the likes of Ajuri Ngelale will not be able to walk freely anywhere on planet Earth, because Nigeria will have been so destroyed, so devastated, in such a mess that they will not have a free conscience to walk. So Ajuri Ngelale has jumped out of the boat to save his own life, to save his career, to save and to preserve his father's name. Do not let anyone tell you that he had some health challenges in his nuclear family and that's the reason why he resigned. He had to go because he has conscience. I've always looked straight into his eyes and I've always seen a man that possibly has conscience. A man that asks himself when he's about to recluse and sleep at night and says to himself, I've told so many lies today, God please forgive me. A man that looks into the mirror and said, I'm going out again today to lie, to protect and present that which is not supposed to be packaged and presented in the first place. A man that look at himself in the mirror and says, all the gifts, the oratorical sagacity, the eloquence that God gave me, I'm going to use it today to lie, to deceive Nigerians. I'm going to exercise the temerity, the tremendous ability that I have to look into the camera and tell people lies and convince them to believe. I'm going to deploy all my talents to deceive Nigerians for the sake of a wrong policy, for the sake of a wrong man in power. And so it's important that we, not as fools, but as wise, understand that the constant conflict between Bayo Onanuga and Ajuri Ngelale precipitated the exit of Ajuri Ngelale. How do I mean? Bayo Onanuga, by structure and hierarchy, was to submit and report to Ajuri Ngelale. Don't forget, not too long ago, there were two conflicting messages, rhetorics, narratives. One, Ajuri Ngelale is saying that the president was going to address us. Bayo Onanuga is saying, look here, I'm the one to listen to. The president has not said he was going to address us. Don't forget, what Bayo Onanuga said held sway at the end of the day. That's to tell you that Ajuri actually stepped on Lagos' toes. Ajuri, who was introduced to the president by his son because of the favor he did for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu before the elections, helping him secure a CNN interview. And so he even got his appointment way faster than that of Bayo Onanuga. Some report came out recently saying that even Bayo Onanuga, until recently, never had an official spot as his office space within the Aso Rock Villa. And then don't forget, there has been confirmed report. If you check Ajuri Ngelale's Twitter page, you will see some of the things I'm saying, that there were confirmed reports that Ajuri Ngelale leaked certain documents for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and then they could have a foundation to the truism of this story in the fact that when Muhammad Buhari was the president, there was an allegation that he also leaked the speech of the president, removing the contemporaneous nature that is expected of a presidential speech, meaning that a speech that is supposed to be taken to be live, like, wow, the president is addressing us live, actually got into the press before the time, meaning that, wow, they were recorded speeches that lacks spontaneity. So I'm saying this to justify the fact that these are the two possible realities: that he has offended the Lagos boys, or his conscience can no longer defend and tell continuous lies to present the narrative that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu meant well for us as a nation. He couldn't just go ahead with it. And this is very, very indicative of what we are to expect in days to come, contingent upon the realities of today. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has missed it policy-wise. He has missed it, and what he has exhibited in the last couple of months is what I call confident ignorance. You don't know the solution, you know nothing, and you continue to, in your physiognomy, in your pulchritude, in your appearance, in your outlook, like you know what you are doing. There's going to be pain for a short period, and then there's going to be pleasure. That is a lie from the pit of hell. Assumption is the lowest level of intellection. You cannot just assume that we will go through pain and then we'll start enjoying. I had an uncle that I love and respected so much who spoke for this administration. He just died out of poverty in recent times. His pension can no longer take him home. And so I'm saying this out of pain, that we can't all have it in our minds and nobody is having it on our lips. We can't all keep quiet. What's wrong with us? Who has bewitched us? That we kept quiet because we are afraid somebody's going to come and arrest us, somebody's going to come and intimidate us, somebody's going to come and cancel us. Why did we all become cowards all of a sudden? What's wrong with us? This is crazy. This is crazy, and I applaud Ajuri Ngelale for resigning. And he needs to take the second step to come out as a man should do and tell us the truth. That the more we dig, the more we see the contours and the curves, the crevices and the cleavages, the rot in this administration. All of a sudden, a name associated with the president is buying a jeep, a national asset, in few weeks. All of a sudden, news are coming out that the First Lady has spent hundreds of millions in hotel accommodation. All of a sudden, we are seeing the president's son in the inauguration of a new CGN, Chief Justice of the Nation. What's going on? A draw now. And so, there is hope. If Ajuri has truly resigned on the grounds of incompetence and on the notice of ruination of Nigeria, there is hope. More resignations to come. My name remains Akin Akintoye. I love to be called MOG.